Hello everyone, welcome back to another session with me, Aayushi Rajput, on your favorite YouTube channel, Unacademy IELTS. I am here to help you crack the IELTS examination, and in furtherance of that goal, today I am coming with a long-term mock test. In this test, you will solve all the 4 sections, starting from speaking and ending at listening. Now, if you still haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, this is high time that you should, so that you don't miss on any of the amazing content. Secondly, install the Unacademy Learning app because this is your one-stop destination for everything related to IELTS. How to prepare for the exam, how to prepare for each section, techniques, true-false questions, opinion essays, speaking patterns, practice, doubt, everything is here. Now, on Unacademy, we have 2 types of classes. You have free classes, they're called special classes, and you have paid classes, they're called plus courses. So a plus course is like a proper coaching, a proper online coaching where you get everything from classes to doubts to mock test and study plan. Right? Now, there are more than 10 amazing educators. We're all certified and experts in the field. We even have some international educators, and we are here to help you. You can watch all of our classes at this one destination. So install the Unacademy Learning app and crack it. Now I know you're looking for an 8 band or a 9 band. Yes. So in order to achieve your dreams, you have to work for them. And one of the best ways to work is focus on your preparation. When you're preparing good for your exam, you will definitely get a good score. Here are some of the courses that I am taking or that I have taken on Unacademy, like courses on basic English, course on writing and grammar, course on speaking, how to speak, all the 3 different sections, what should be your content, etc., etc., and course on listening and reading. Now, this course is currently going on, and after this course is finished, I'm going to start with the course of speaking. So whenever you join us, many courses like these will continuously be going on, and you can choose whichever course you want to take. Now, when you take a plus subscription on Unacademy, you will study from all the teachers. So there are more than 10 live classes every day. You can choose whatever classes you want to watch. And if it's a class, you can watch the recording of the class. So isn't that amazing? Now, we have special YouTube sessions and there are special doubt clearing classes. Plus, you will be in touch with your educators. Now, moving on, guys. A subscription on Unacademy for 1 month, if I give you an example, is for only 2,730 rupees. Sorry, 2,700 rupees. Yeah. But when you take this 1 month subscription, so just think about it. Your IELTS examination is going to cost you around 13,000-14,000 rupees, right? And your life, your dreams, your future is at stake here. Then don't take a risk with your examination because sometimes your local coachings don't have the expertise. If you live in a small city, say अगर आप एक छोटे शहर में रह रहे हैं, वहाँ पर शायद आपको कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना पड़ेगा अपनी क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन के साथ, लेकिन अनअकैडमी के आने से ये पॉसिबल है कि आप वर्ल्ड की टॉप एजुकेटर से पढ़ सकते हैं, दुनिया का टॉप क्लास और क्वालिटी एजुकेशन ले सकते हैं अपने घर पर रहकर. इफ़ यू आर डूइंग अ बिजनेस, आप घर पे हैं, कोई काम कर रहे हैं, जॉब है, स्टूडेंट है, आप किसी भी वक्त क्लासेस देख सकते हैं, घर में, कार में, ऑफिस में, कहीं भी. आप क्लासेस में कमेंट कर सकते हैं, अपने एजुकेटर से बात कर सकते हैं, डाउट्स पूछ सकते हैं, क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे, क्लासेस को अटेंड करेंगे, कोई क्लास मिस होगी तो उसका रिकॉर्डेड वर्जन देखेंगे. और इतने सारे फीचर्स हैं कि मैं शायद सारे फीचर्स बता भी नहीं पाती, उससे पहले ही मैं थक जाती हूँ या कुछ मैं भूल ही जाती हूँ. तो आई एम श्योर कुछ फीचर्स मैं अभी भी भूल गई हूँ शायद, या बट एनीवे, तो ये सब आपको मिलेगा सिर्फ 2,430 रुपीज में, सब कुछ. और एक सेक्शन नहीं, रीडिंग, लिसनिंग, राइटिंग, स्पीकिंग, स्ट्रैटेजीज, टिप्स, एग्जाम स्ट्रैटेजी, सब कुछ, एवरीथिंग, all the sections, all these benefits only for 2,430 rupees. But the price is 2,700. Then how are you going to get it for 2,400? when you use this code. This is your 10% discount code. AAYUSHI. क्या हुआ? Ayushi. And that's my name. So if you use my name as your code before making payment, पेमेंट करने से पहले इस कोड को लगाएंगे आप AAYUSHI, तो आपको 10% ऑफ मिलेगा. सिमिलरली 3 month कोर्स है, 6 month कोर्स है, डिपेंड करता है आपकी इंग्लिश किस लेवल पे है. फॉर पीपल हु हैव परफेक्ट इंग्लिश, जिनकी इंग्लिश बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है, उनके लिए 1 month काफ़ी है. 1 month is enough for them because that is enough time for them to understand the exam pattern, practice the questions, get feedback and improve. People who have weak English, जिनकी English weak है, उनको minimum 3 months या हो सकता है 6 months भी लगे. तो 3 month या 6 month सब्सक्रिप्शन में you will get a 20% ऑफ. आपको मेरा नाम कोड की तरह यूज करना है, और जब आप अनअकैडमी का ऐप इंस्टॉल करोगे और कुछ फ्री क्लासेस देखोगे तो आपको कुछ पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे. उन पॉइंट्स को भी यूज करेंगे तो और 10%, तो टोटल 20%. तो 6,750 की जगह 5,468. तो पूरे 3 महीने लगातार क्लासेस सिर्फ 5,000 रुपीज में. वेल, अब हम अपने टेस्ट को स्टार्ट करते हैं. राइट, दैट्स व्हाट यू हैव बीन वेटिंग फॉर. Before I head on to that, just let me inform you about one more thing that's extremely important here. अब आपको एक सब्सक्रिप्शन लेना है. आपको नहीं समझ आ रहा आपके लिए क्या बेस्ट है, आपको नहीं समझ आ रहा कि ठीक है हम कैसे पढ़ेंगे, सिलेबस कैसे खत्म करेंगे, तो आपको कोई भी डाउट है अनअकैडमी से रिलेटेड, सब्सक्रिप्शन से रिलेटेड, तो आप मुझे इस चैनल पे फॉलो करेंगे. टेलीग्राम का एक ऐप है, उसको इंस्टॉल करना है. उस ऐप को इंस्टॉल करने के बाद IELTS by AAYUSHI ये ग्रुप है, जैसे व्हाट्सएप पे ग्रुप होता है, ये ग्रुप है. इस ग्रुप को ज्वाइन करो और वहां पर यू कैन टॉक टू मी. अगर सर्च करके ग्रुप नहीं मिल रहा तो ये लिंक के थ्रू ग्रुप ढूंढ लो. तो कितनी ऐप्स इंस्टॉल करनी है हमें? 2, अनअकैडमी और टेलीग्राम. और उससे हमें मिलने क्या वाला है? IELTS में 8 बैंड या फिर IELTS में 9 बैंड. तो चाहिए ना, दिस इज अ फेयर डील, राइट? अगर मान लो हमें फ्री क्लासेस से ज्यादा चाहिए, वे लाइक ठीक है मैम फ्री क्लासेस दे आर गुड बट आई वांट मोर, आई वांट पर्सनल अटेंशन, आई वांट अ कंप्लीट कोर्स, तो क्या सिर्फ 2,430 रुपीज, मतलब पूरे 2.5K भी नहीं, पूरे 2,500 भी नहीं, उससे भी थोड़ा कम, और उसमें आप रेडी होगे अपने IELTS में अच्छे बैंड स्कोर के लिए. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, आप एजुकेटर्स के क्रेडेंशियल्स वगैरह सब चेक कर सकते हो अनअकैडमी पे. सिर्फ वेरीफाइड एजुकेटर्स ही, IELTS से सर्टिफाइड लोग ही अनअकैडमी पे IELTS के लिए पढ़ाते हैं. चलो, then let's get started. Also, अगर if you have any other doubts regarding your exam and anything, talk to me here, Telegram. Now, let's start with your general training test, okay? The first section would be for speaking here. 1 second. Right. So the first section would be for speaking. I have questions for part 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to ask you those questions and then there will be some pauses in which you can give your answers. How? आप खुद अपना आंसर बोल के देखिए एक बार. Try and speak your answer to yourself and see whether you clear this marking criteria. Good vocabulary, perfect grammar, variety of sentence structures, fluency. If not, what is the other way? दूसरा तरीका क्या है स्पीकिंग चेक करने का, कि आप मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में अपने आंसर्स पोस्ट कर देंगे. इस वीडियो के बाद कमेंट्स को आप अपने आंसर्स से भर देंगे और फिर मैं उनको पढ़ के अपना फीडबैक दे दूंगी. या तीसरा तरीका, आप टेलीग्राम का ऐप इंस्टॉल कर लीजिए, ये जो मैंने यहाँ बताया था, इस चैनल को ज्वाइन करिए और अपना आंसर या तो मुझे लिख के भेज दीजिए या फिर आप उसको वॉइस रिकॉर्ड करके भी भेज सकते हैं. यस, तो बाकी के जितने भी सेक्शंस हैं, रीडिंग, राइटिंग और लिसनिंग, उनके आंसर्स आपको यहीं मिलेंगे इस क्लास में. बस स्पीकिंग के लिए थोड़ा सा मेहनत, राइट? सो पार्ट 1, do you often use numbers to do something? Are you good at memorizing numbers? What is your favorite number? And are you good at numbers? Would you like to have a job dealing with numbers? Now your answers should be approximately 3 to 6 sentences long. Make sure you're not repeating words. There are some high-level words. Grammar is accurate or very few grammatical errors. Using a variety of sentence structures. Making sure there's fluency, coherence, and intonation. If you don't know what are these criterias, अगर आपको नहीं पता ये क्या criterias हैं जिनकी मैं बात कर रही हूँ, तो अनअकैडमी का ऐप इंस्टॉल करिए, वहां पर मैं आपको सिखाऊंगी स्पीकिंग में अच्छा स्कोर कैसे आता है. Let's move on to part 2 question. Talk about a positive change in your life. When did this change happen? How was your life before this change? How is your life now? And why is this change so special to you? This is a typing error. This will be why. So talk about a significant change or a new development in your life. You will have 1 minute to make notes and then you will give your answer for 2 minutes. So your 1 minute note making time starts now. Thirty seconds are over. And there goes a minute. So your 1 minute preparation time is over. You will get this 1 minute time for your speaking part 2 to make some short notes about the answer that you want to give. Then you will start speaking continuously and give an answer to all of these questions like a story or like a long paragraph. You should speak continuously for 2 minutes, that is essential, and you should answer all of these bullet questions. After this, the examiner will have a discussion round with you where the examiner will take a very proactive role. They will ask you some questions, you will give the answers, and it will be a discussion that will be going on. So, what are the advantages of strong family relationships? How many generations are usually living under one roof in your country? What do you think are the benefits and drawbacks of a family of several generations living together? And do parents have equal responsibilities in taking care of their children? So as I've told you, you can share these answers in the comment section. You can share these answers on Telegram. And then you can get my feedback. Right, let's start with the writing section now. Remember, on your exam day or for your IELTS date, speaking will be on a separate day and reading, writing, listening will be together on a separate day. Now this is your writing task 1. In the IELTS General Training Examination, Hi Brady and hi Hiren, how are you guys? Now guys, in your IELTS general training examination, you will get to write a letter in your writing task 1. The letter will have 33% weightage in your writing band and you will have to write minimum 150 words. So this is the question right here. There is a public park near where you live. You have heard that the local council wants to sell this park. Write a letter to a local newspaper. In your letter, introduce yourself, describe the importance of the park, and say what action you will take if the council continues with this plan. Now you have to finish this task in 20 minutes. Let me give you a small tip here. Out of these 20 minutes, take the first 1 minute to structure your answer and to think about the content, and 1 minute in the end to check the mistakes and errors. Just a second, guys. So that leaves you with only 18 minutes to write your letter. So start writing your answer. In the end of this video, I will share a sample answer with you and you can match your own answer with that answer and figure out what your score is. If you want feedback, you can join me on Telegram. Install the Telegram app. There, search for IELTS by AAYUSHI and I'll tell you what is your band score for this sample letter. Right, so your time starts now. I am going to give a pause for approximately 5 to 10 minutes here in the class for a 20-minute time to write this answer. You should later pause the video for additional 10 minutes and put a timer for 20 minutes in total. But you should have a practice to write your answer in less than 17 or 18 minutes because you need 1 minute in the beginning to structure your answer, think about the content, what all details you will fill here, and you need 1 minute in the end to check spelling, grammatical and other errors. So your time starts now. Now you can pause the video later and put a timer for another 10-12 minutes. Let's move on to writing task 2. This is your second task. You have to write an essay and you have to write it in 250 words. Now, some people believe that today's teenagers have more stressful lives than previous generations. Discuss this view and give your own opinion. So you have to compare how in the modern world the teenagers have a stressful life and how many years ago the kids or teenagers they used to have a stressful life. So find some information about the reasons why today children feel stressful: school, fashion, crushes, the pressure of being successful, other kinds of peer pressure. Yeah, maybe these things. Why in the past they had to help their family to earn money, there was low income, low food to eat, a lot of diseases, a lot of struggle was there in the life, no facilities, luxury or benefits. So you can compare a life of a teenager, and you know who's a teenager? A person from the age of 13 to 19. So these are young kids. Then you have to discuss this view and give your own opinion. So finally, what do you think? Was the life of a teenager difficult for the previous generations? When your parents were kids, when your grandparents were kids, was their life difficult as a teenager? Or is the life of modern teenagers, is that life more difficult, or I would say stressful, right? So you have to write 250 words in this essay. It should have an introduction, it should have a conclusion, and in between two content paragraphs or body paragraphs. Minimum two, okay? Yeah. So start for this task. You can give yourself 40 minutes. The official time that you get in the examination for your writing task 2, it is 40 minutes. But remember, you should take at least 3 minutes in the beginning to plan your answer and plan the structure of your answer and the content, what you're going to write, what kind of information. Then, after writing everything, in the end, you should have minimum 2-3 minutes to check the errors. So, 5 minutes are reduced. Now, you have 35 minutes to write your answer. First, make a structure, decide how you're gonna write this, and in the end, keep some time to check for errors, spelling errors or grammatical errors, etc. Now remember, this is a bonus tip that I'm giving you. To get a good score in the IELTS essay writing, it's advisable if you add examples in your answer. So your essay should definitely include some examples. So your time starts now. Give yourself 40 minutes, and within 40 minutes, you should be finished with everything from planning to writing to checking for errors. Now 3 to 4 minutes are over. You're going to give yourself additional 35 to 38 minutes and solve this answer. After the writing test, you will start with the reading test. This is your section 1. You will get total 1 hour to do your reading examination. Now look at this. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. So total around 5 paragraphs or 5 passages. So let me tell you a little bit about time management here. 5 passages. So the first passage, second passage, third passage, fourth passage, and fifth passage. Now you have 60 minutes in total. Now remember this when I say that your last 2 passages will be a bit longer, they'll be a bit difficult. Or as I say, section 1, section 2 and section 3. This is divided into 3 sections. For example, in section 1, you will get 2 small passages. Section 2, again 2 small passages. Section 3, 1 longer passage. Like this, around 5 passages. So they will all be bit short, like not very long, but the language and the difficulty level will keep increasing as you move from first to the fifth. So keep the maximum amount of time for your last 2 or 3 passages. 20 minutes here, approximately 17-18 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and approximately 10 minutes for each of these. So the time can vary a little bit, there can be some changes, but try to finish the first 2 passages as quickly as possible. Then, out of these 60 minutes, you will have to write your rough answers in the fair answer sheet. So, out of this, you can deduct at least 5 minutes. You will take 3 to 5 minutes to transfer answers. So, minus 5. 1 minute to check all the answers quickly, the numbering and the spellings. Minus 1 more. So, total you have somewhere around 54 to 55 minutes to solve your reading exercises. So similarly, give yourself time when you're doing these passages. Divide your time accordingly. Within 1 hour, you have to finish reading. So this is your passage number 1. At this point, you should pause the video. Now, these are the instructions and this tells you what you have to do here. Read them carefully and figure out. The instructions are also important. So you can pause the video or keep switching between this page and that page, or you can take a screenshot and then you can read the passage first, then figure out these headings and tell us whether they're true or false. example. If this one is saying your first option says participants can decide where the course is held. Then you will go back to the passages. There are 6 passages. The numbers or the names of the passages are A, B, C, D, E, F. Now you have to read these passages and find out in which of these there is information about place or venue. Then you have to find out whether can we choose that place. If you, for example, find out in passage number D, it says for landscape photography or for landscape painting, you can decide where the course will be. Then you can match it with the first one. Similarly, do other questions. Pause the video. Try to do them in less than 7 minutes. Now, this is your next passage, but it's still part of section 1. Read this passage, 4 different paragraphs. Find out essential information. You have to use keywords and use them appropriately. Then, these are your options. 7 statements from 8 to 14. You have to read the statements, you have to read the passage and find out whether statement number 8 is true, false or not given. Statement number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Are they true? Are they false? Or are they not given in the passage? So this is the passage. Pause it, watch it, read it, and these are your questions. Pause them and solve them. Try to do this in less than 8 minutes. Now, section 2. Another passage. The heading is Mistakes when applying for a job. These are your questions. Some blanks. You have to fill these blanks with one word only. So pause the class at this page. Read it for 5 minutes. And then take 2, 3 or maximum 4 minutes to find the answers. Now moving on, this is the next passage of section number 2, new passage. These are some paragraphs on this page. Pause it, read it within 3-4 minutes. But the passage is not over. There is more. This page. Pause it, read it for 4 to 5 minutes. And these are your questions. For these questions, you have to write exact word in the answer. For example, the question is asking what is the favorite color. And when you read the passage, you say the favorite color is red. So you have to write RED, red, as your answer. Read the instructions carefully. Only one word or only one number is allowed. You can also write one word plus one number. So your passage page 1, pause it. Passage page 2, pause it. Questions. Pause it and find out your answers. Now we move to section 3. Section 3 will be the end of your reading test. It's a long passage here. This is page 1, Clog Dancing's Big Street Revival. Pause the video and try to read this in approximately 5 to 6 minutes. Then move on to the next page and again try to read it in 5 minutes. Moving on to the last page. Try to read this in 5 minutes. So total you're going to take approximately 10-12 minutes or 15 minutes to read it. But you also have to find answers. So that's why I told you the last one will take some time, and this is the last one, it's really lengthy. Some people like to read the questions first and then they like to read the passage. Some people like to skim the passage. There are different techniques and we will learn about those techniques on Unacademy Plus courses. These are your questions. There's a list of headings and you have to match these headings with the current paragraph. So these are the paragraphs. You have to match them with the headings here. Correct headings with correct paragraph. Now there are only 7 paragraphs but 10 headings. So think smartly, how will you answer them? Also remember, read the instructions carefully. What is written? Write the correct number 1 to X in the boxes 28 to 34 on your answer sheet. So for example, if this heading is matching here, you will not write the complete or the whole heading, you will only write 4. Okay? Now, from the same passage, clock dancing, you have to finish this summary. Pause it, go back to the passage, find out the answers to these 3 blanks and in 2 words. You can write 1 word, you can write 2 words, but you cannot write more than 2 words. Pause it and do it. Now, for the next one, again, you have to fill these 3 blanks here. It's about the origin of clock dancing. So that means you only have to focus on the first few paragraphs because there we will talk about history, I think. Or you can read the entire paragraph. Or after reading the paragraph, you already have a rough idea which one or in which paragraph you can find your answer. The instructions say you have to write your answer in 1 word only. So you cannot write 2 words, you can write only 1 word here. Pause it and solve it. After this, we will move on to the listening section. For the listening section, I will have to continuously play and pause some recordings for you. Now remember, the listening section is very scoring. So try to score more than 35 here. It's possible to get a 9 band in listening. So a student who wants a 9 band in listening, that will help a lot in your other categories also because it will increase your overall band score. To get a 9 band in listening, you need to do all 40 questions correctly. Now let me take you here. I will of course zoom in the page again, but this is your section 1 of listening. This chart here, you have to fill the chart based on the information that you will listen to in the recording. After this chart, there are some blanks or sentence completions. These also you have to complete by listening to the recording. That will be your section 1, question number 1 to 10, section 1. So let's begin. But remember, read the instructions carefully. What are the instructions saying? Give me a minute to play the recording and then you can start. You can even put your earphones on if you want so that there's more clarity. There will be automatic pauses in the recording, and that is just how
51. You will hear.
And this is just how. Oh, 1 second, there's some error.
Hear a converse. Recording 51. You will hear a conversation between an assistant at a community centre and a man who wants to join some evening classes. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Hello, Eastwood Community Centre.
Oh, hello. My name's Andrew Dyson. I'm calling about the evening classes you offer.
Okay, Mr. Dyson. Are there any classes in particular that you're interested in?
Yes, you've got a class called Painting with Watercolours, I believe.
That's right. It's a popular class, so this term it'll be moving to the hall, so they've got more room.
Right. I know it's on Tuesdays, but what time exactly?
It was 6:30 last term, but let me just have a look at the details. Okay, it'll be 7:30 this time. Probably it suits more people.
Well, it's my wife who's really interested, and that'll be good for her because she's home from work by 7:15. That'll give her just enough time to get there. What does she need to bring?
Okay, well, paints are provided by the tutor, I know that. The information says she'll need just a jar for water and some pencils for drawing. There are also lots of aprons here, so she needn't worry what she's wearing. And the cost for 4 classes is $45, including paints, as I said.
Okay. Now, we're both quite keen on the Maori language class.
There are spaces on the next course, So you could join that.
Oh, good. Which room will that be in?
When you come in through the entrance of the community centre building, you'll need to go straight up the stairs in front of you, all the way to the top, and it's the small room you'll find there.
I see. All right, and let me just check when it's starting. I heard from someone that the July course has been delayed until August.
I'm afraid so, and we're halfway through the June course at the moment, so there's not much point you taking that.
I guess we'll have to wait then.
Well, when you do come, the tutor recommends bringing a small recorder with you, just so you can listen again later. And the cost for 5 classes is currently $40.
Okay, useful information to know. There's one more class I'm interested in. That's the digital photography class.
Oh, I've taken that class myself. The tutor's very good. That'll be in room 9, and it's starting in 2 weeks' time, in the evening, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Obviously I need to bring the camera with me. I suppose it'd be useful to have the instructions that go with the camera too?
I'd say so. Some people bring along a lot of accessories like extra lenses, but there's really no need for this class. It's mainly focusing on composition, really, and getting the most out of the basic camera.
That's exactly what I need. And how much does it cost?
Let's see. For 4 classes, it's $35. But if you take 8, it works out as $55. So you're making a bit of a saving. $15, that is.
I see.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you will have some time to look at the questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Okay, now just another question for the watercolours class. I've just remembered that my wife asked me to find out about the level. Who's it for?
Okay, well, you don't have to be very skilled or anything like that. It's designed for beginners, actually. People who might see art as a hobby rather than as a professional opportunity.
That sounds like my wife. And who do I talk to if I want to find out some more about the Maori language classes?
Probably best to talk to the tutor directly. He'll be in the office in about half an hour. His name's Jason Kuai. That's K-A-H-U-I.
Good. I'll give him a call.
Oh, if you do decide to come to the photography class, don't forget to look at your camera battery and make sure it's charged. I know it sounds obvious, but I've seen a few people suddenly find the cameras stopped working right in the middle of class.
Yes, I can imagine it'd be easy to forget that. Oh, that reminds me. In the final week of the photography course, is it right that there's a visit to a show in the local area? I work in the city, you see, so I might have to come home early for that one.
Yes, they'll decide the date once the class has started. Is there anything else I can...
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Alright guys, let's begin with section 2 now.
Recording 52. You will hear a project manager talking to voluntary workers about the tasks that need to be done. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
Good morning. It's great to see so many people here. Thank you all very much for coming. Well, as you know, the community gardens at Hadley Park are really not looking as good as they should. Quite bad, really. And although the local council has a budget to deal with some of the problems, we do need volunteers for other tasks. If you don't mind, I'm going to divide you into two groups. So everyone on this side of the room is Group A, and the rest of you are Group B. So, Group A, there are a couple of things we'd like you to help with. First of all, don't worry about any litter or empty bottles you see lying about. One of the local schools has offered to help out with that as part of their own environmental project. The priority for you will be to give us a hand with the new wooden fencing. It needs constructing along parts of the bicycle track, as there are parts which have now fallen down or broken, as I'm sure you've seen. You've probably also noticed that some of the pathways that come from the bicycle track are quite narrow, and there are plans to make them wider, but the council will be dealing with that later in the year. And they've also promised to produce some informational signs about the plants in the gardens. Hopefully, they'll be up in a few weeks' time. The other thing we're doing is getting rid of some of the foreign species that are growing in the gardens and putting back some native plants and trees. So you'll be doing some digging for us and getting those into the ground. So, Group A, there's some items you'll need to bring along with you. I was going to say raincoats, but the forecast has changed, so you can leave those at home. I'd definitely recommend a strong pair of boots. Waterproof would be best. It's quite muddy at the moment, and your own gloves would also be advisable. Tools will be available, spades and hammers, that kind of thing. You just need to make sure they go back in the trucks. And, there's no need to worry about food and drink, as we'll be supplying sandwiches and coffee, possibly some biscuits even.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you will have some time to look at the questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Okay, Group B, your turn. Does everyone have a copy of the plan? Oh, great. Okay. We'll all be meeting in the car park. That's on the bottom of the plan. See? Now, if you've been assigned to the vegetable beds, to get there, you go out of the car park and go up the footpath until you reach the circle of trees. There they are, in the middle of the plan. And you see that the footpath goes all the way around them. Well, on the left-hand side of that circular footpath, there's a short track which takes you directly to the vegetable beds. You can see a bamboo fence marked just above them. All right? Okay, if you're helping out with the beehives, pay attention. Look again at the circle of trees in the middle of the plan and the footpath that goes around them. On the right side of that circle, you can see that the footpath goes off in an easterly direction, heading towards the right-hand side of the plan. And then the path splits into two, and you can either go up or down. You want the path that heads down. And at the end of this, you see two areas divided by a bamboo fence. And as we're looking at the plan, the beehives are on the right of the fence. The smaller section, I mean. Now, don't worry, all the bees have been removed. You just need to transport the hives back to the car park. Okay, for the seating, look at the circular footpath. At the top of it, there's a path that goes from there and takes you up to the seating area, alongside the bicycle track, and with a good view of the island, I suppose. Okay, if you're volunteering for the adventure playground area, let's start from the car park again and go up the footpath, but then you want the first left turn. Go up there, and then you see there's a short path that goes off to the right. Go down there, and that's the adventure playground area, above the bamboo fence. That fence does need repairing, I'm afraid. Right, what else? Oh yes, the sand area. We've got that circular footpath in the middle. Find the track that goes east, towards the right-hand side of the plan. And where that track divides, you need the little path that goes up towards the bicycle track. The sand area is just above the bamboo fence there. And finally, the pond area. So it's on the left-hand side of your plan, towards the top, just above the fruit bushes and to the left of the little path. Okay, as I said already, hopefully we'll...
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Alright,
Now turn to section 3.
let's move on to section 3 now.
Recording 53. You will hear two students discussing a presentation they are going to give. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Robert.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I was just printing off some pages about food waste in Britain.
Do you want to include Britain in the presentation? I thought we were concentrating on the USA.
Well, it is a global problem, so I thought we ought to provide some statistics that show that.
Fair enough. What did you find out?
Well, I was looking at a British study from 2013. It basically concluded that 12 billion pounds worth of food and drink was thrown away each year, all of it ending up in landfill sites. Over 8 million tons. And that wasn't including packaging.
An incredible amount.
Yes, and they were only looking at what households threw away. So there's no information about restaurants and the catering industry. But one thing the study did investigate was the amount of milk and soft drinks that were wasted. And I think it was probably quite unique in that respect.
Interesting. You know, in the other European reports I've read, there's one thing they have in common when they talk about carbon dioxide emissions.
I know what you are going to say. They never refer to the fuel that farms and factories require to produce the food, and the carbon dioxide that releases?
Exactly. We could really cut down on carbon emissions if less food was supplied in the first place. To my mind, the reports talk too much about the carbon dioxide produced by the trucks that deliver the fresh goods to the shops and take the waste away. They forget about one of the key causes of carbon dioxide.
Absolutely. If the reports are actually going to be useful to people, they need to be more comprehensive.
Who do you mean by people?
Well, the government, industries, people making television programs. Have you seen any documentaries about food waste?
Not that I remember.
My point exactly. These days, they all seem to be focusing on where your meat, fruit, and vegetables are sourced from. We're being encouraged to buy locally, not from overseas. That's probably a good thing, but I'd still like to see something about waste.
Yes, it's the same with magazine articles. It's all about fat and sugar content and the kind of additives and coloring in food, but nothing about how it reaches your table and what happens after it ends up in the bin.
Well, we've only got 15 minutes for this presentation, so I think we'll have to limit what we say about the consequences of food waste. What do we want to concentrate on?
Well, I know some of the other presentations are looking at food and farming methods and what they do to the environment. So I think we'll avoid that. And the fact that in some countries, people can't afford the food grown on their own farms. That was covered last term.
Okay, we don't want to repeat stuff.
What concerns me above all else is that in a recession, governments should be encouraging business to find ways to cut costs. Apparently, supermarkets in the USA lose about 11% of their fruit to waste. That's throwing money away.
All right, we'll focus on that problem. It should get the others' attention anyway. Now, how do you want to begin the presentation? Let's not start with statistics, though, because that's what everybody does.
I agree. How about we give the other students a set of questions to answer about what they suspect they waste every day?
I'm fine with that. Probably a better option than showing pictures of landfill sites. It'll be more personalized that way.
All right. Now let's start.
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Okay, shall we now have a look at the projects that different researchers and organizations are working on?
For me, the project I really liked was the one at Tufts University. You know, where they've invented tiny edible patches to stick on fresh foods that show you what level of bacteria is present, and so whether you can still eat it.
It's a great idea, as it tells you if you need to hurry up and eat the food before it goes off. The other good thing about the patches is that apparently they'll be cheap to manufacture.
Good. Then the other thing I thought was great was the Massachusetts Institute of Technology project.
I hadn't seen that.
Well, they've developed these sensors that can detect tiny amounts of ethylene. Ethylene is the natural plant hormone in fruit that makes them turn ripe, apparently. The researchers think that they can attach the sensors to cardboard boxes, and then supermarkets can scan the sensors with a portable device to see how ripe the fruit inside is. That's got to be a quicker way to check for ripeness than taking each box off the shelf and opening it.
Definitely. And I thought that Lean Path was worth mentioning too. Their waste tracking technology means that caterers can see how much food is being wasted and why. That'll increase profits for them eventually.
Yes. And did you read about 0%? They've produced this smartphone application that allows restaurants to send donation alerts to food charities. The charities can then pick up the unwanted food and distribute it to people in need.
In the long run, that'll definitely benefit poorer families in the neighborhood. No kid should go to school hungry.
I agree. And I read that quite a few local governments in the USA are thinking about introducing compulsory composting in their states. So you can't put any food waste into your rubbish bins, just the compost bin.
Well, I guess that means a bit more work for people. I mean, they have to separate the organic and inorganic waste themselves before they take it out to the compost bin. And you know how lazy some people are. But I guess if we all start composting, we'd be doing something positive about the problem of food waste ourselves, rather than relying on the government to sort it out. Having said that, not everyone has a garden, so I...
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now the last section, section 4.
Now turn to section 4. Recording 54. You lecture about Maori kite making. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Well, good morning, everyone. As you know, we've been looking at different kinds of art and craft that were practiced by the Maori people of New Zealand, at least before the Europeans began to arrive in the 18th century. So, the focus of this lecture is kite making, how the kites were made, their appearance, and the purposes they served. Well, let's start with the way they were made. As with other Maori artistic traditions, kite making involved certain rituals. So, firstly, only priests were allowed to fly and handle the largest, most sacred kites. There were rules too, for the size and scale of the kites that the priests had to follow, and during the preparation of both small and large kites, food was strictly forbidden. In terms of appearance, kites were frequently designed in the image of a native bird, or a Maori god, and sometimes, perhaps less often, a well-known hero. You can imagine that when Maori first arrived in the new country, in New Zealand, it may have taken some time to find suitable materials for their kites. But through trial and error, no doubt, they found plants and trees that provided bark and even roots that they could use to make the frames and wings of their kites. And after the frame had been constructed, the kite then had to be decorated. For this, the priests used long grasses, and these, when the kite was in the air, would stream along behind it. They also used a variety of feathers to add colour to their creations. Well, all this meant it was easy to see a kite in the sky, but you could also hear Maori kites. They could be quite noisy indeed, and this was because some priests liked to hang a long row of shells from the kite. You can imagine how they'd rattle and clatter in the wind, how they might completely capture your attention. As I said before, the most common image was probably a bird, and that's the same for other kite-making cultures. But the kites were designed in particular shapes. So, there were kites that were triangular, rectangular, and also shaped like a diamond. And some of them were so large it would actually require several men to operate them. Some of the kites were also covered in patterns, and to make these patterns, the Maori used different pigments of red and black, and these were either made from a charcoal base or from red-brown clay which had been combined with oil obtained from a local species of shark. Kite that has a wooden mask at the top of the frame. It's a mask of a human head, and you can clearly see it has a tattoo and also a set of teeth. Quite impressive, and a good example of Maori craftsmanship and symbolism. Right, turning to the purpose and function of the kites. They certainly had multiple uses. Primarily, the flying of kites was a way of communicating with the gods, and when the kites rose into the air, the Maori used them to deliver messages, perhaps requesting a good harvest, good fortune in war, a successful hunting expedition. So these kites were incredibly valuable to a community, treasured objects that one generation would pass to the next. People would also fly kites for other reasons. For example, to attract the attention of a neighbouring village. This was done when a meeting was required between Maori elders, a convenient method indeed. And finally, when it comes to war, there are traditional stories that describe how when a Maori warrior found himself surrounded by his enemies, a kite could actually provide the possibility of escape. The kites were powerful enough to take a man up into the air, and for this reason, they could also be used to lower him into enemy fortifications so that an attack could begin from the inside. Well, I'm happy to say there seems to be a revival and growing interest in kite making, and
So guys, this is the end of your mock test. We have done reading, writing, speaking and listening. Let me quickly take you to the answer key. Remember, for speaking answers, you have to follow me on Unacademy and follow me on Telegram. The name of the Telegram channel is IELTS by AAYUSHI. Install the Unacademy Learning app. There, find the IELTS category and watch all the videos that will help you, and those are free videos that will help you get a good band in the IELTS examination. Now, this is your letter writing sample. You can match this with your own answer. Some of the points here are just bullets. They're not even completed, but they will give you a quick information. Like, my name is John Smith, a resident of Quitlam for 5 years. My family moved here due to its affordability and proximity to the city, etc., etc. No, I think actually everything is complete here. So this is your letter writing task 1 sample answer. Pause the video and compare it with your own answer. Now, your essay writing answer, task 2. This is a sample answer. Let me just help you a little bit here. This is your introduction. This is body paragraph 1. These are your other body paragraphs, and this is the conclusion. So, pause the video, compare this with your own answer. Now remember, if you want how many bands have you scored, if you want to know what is your band score, you can send me this answer